You were part of systems you never even heard of.
Right. And they got something called the Child Project, which is a secure nationwide network and registry.
For the kids, huh?
Yep. Which basically, lets you find your child when it's missing. Yeah, stuff like that. Basically, if your child goes missing, you can find your child. Like a LoJack for your children.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they put on the dog collars. Just like they put on computers and your cars and everything else. So that was a little quick fact that I found. Going back to the article though, I'm gonna play this video on how this iPhone app actually works. It says catching criminals. Brockton cops have an app for that. That's supposed to be a joke.
This new technology that we're rolling out today is the result of a Department of Justice and National Sheriff's Association grant to the Massachusetts Sheriff's Association. And we're very, very glad to have this debuting not just at the Sheriff's Department, but here in our local police department as well, because we'll be building a database going forward.
You'll be seeing two systems today. The first is an iris biometric technology system that captures the unique features contained in the human iris, which is the colored part around the pupil. The second system you'll be seeing is facial recognition. Facial recognition is the unique relationship, distances, and dimensions between those features. Say, for example, to the outside edges of both of your eyes versus the distance between your chin and your nose. It measures those, analyzes those, stores them to a database, and can go back at a later time and compare new features being submitted to the database of other ones. Well, this is something that the officers can actually access when they're out on the road, so they don't have to rely on bringing somebody back here to figure out who they are. If they encounter an individual out on the street that has done something that would warrant them being identified, so what I'm saying is we're not going to just randomly stop people on the street and say, hey, come here, we want to take your picture and look in your eyes. It's somebody that's done something and we have a probable cause or reason to be asking for ID and to be trying to identify them. If that is the case out on the street, we'll be able to take their picture with this handheld iPhone, which is what it is. It's a telephone. It works as a regular telephone, but it also has all the applications that an iPhone has. Take their picture, and this will have facial recognition systems built into it that will go into a secure internet connection, and within a few seconds, if they've been scanned into this system previously, it will come up with their picture from the previous event and with their complete history.
Okay. And that was the end of the video, and that basically what it did was show you how that Morris iPhone app works. So basically what they can do is they can be, a regular cop can be sitting in this cop car, snap a picture of you, and they already have all your information up.
Before he even walk up on you. So he can walk up on you knowing you a felon, knowing you just got out of jail on probation, and walk up to you and ask you your name, and know you're supposed to be consenting to this. And this baby, so
got your ass.
Right, oh well. But you ain't got no rights anyways.
And the elder just pulled up the Positive ID Corporation on something that they have called the glucose chip. And
yeah, that's the section they have it under, because they trying to cloak the chip under. Oh, we're trying to help people with their glucose, so you can read your glucose.
And by the way, that company I just showed you where the iPhone app comes from, B12 Technologies, is a fusion of the company VeriChip, Steel Vault, and Positive ID fused into one. So basically, and this is the finished product, Positive ID, which is under the new name. It used to be called VeriChip. They have this product called a glucose chip, was basically the chip. Well, I'm gonna let the article explain itself. It says, taking the capabilities of RFID implantable microchips beyond simple identification. Positive ID received a patent in 2006 for embedded biosensor system that combines an embedded biosensor system on an implanted RFID microchip. One potential application of this biosensory system is an implantable biosensing RFID microchip that measures glucose levels in the body in real time. So if you ever see those commercials for the blood sugar readers, like they got a one touch, where you'll touch the thing and it pricks your finger and it reads your blood glucose level and everything. Well, now they got all that infused into this RFID chip.
Right, they just make it so convenient for you people.
Right.
And you know, you people love that corn syrup, so a lot of you blacks and Latins, the ones suffering from this, that's why they pushing it.
Right, drinking them Arizona teas.
All that white sugar.
Crazy Horse malt liquor. It says, to advance its application, Positive ID partnered with Receptors Limited Liability Company, an expert in the field of proteomics and the development of artificial receptors to develop a prototype level glucose sensor to use in conjunction with an implantable biosensing RFID microchip to measure glucose levels in the body. Receptors has successfully completed phase 1 and phase 2 of the project.
You hear that, Nate?
Damn.
You hear that, Nate?
It says, in phase 1 of its glucose development, Receptors Liability Company successfully prepared prototype examples for both the glucose selective binding environment and the glucose competitive signaling component. These critical components were used to demonstrate the benchtop format application of the glucose sensing system to the detection of glucose levels. So, you know, you already got the chip implanted in your hand, and basically what can happen is your blood sugar gets too low and you start to feel it, and the little sensors in the chip can read your blood levels, because it's already in your bloodstream. So it'll read your blood levels and alert the authorities if you faint or fall out and things like that.
Now, Nate, I want you to explain how could it alert the authorities, and authorities can find out where you located at unless it's hooked up to your how do you say it, longitude, latitude, GPS.
Yep. See
that? And this also can run off your bank and so forth. We know they're gonna spend it into that.
And then they already know your face and the way you walk, the way you talk, everything.
Okay.
Just on this iris recognition off the next generation identification database and everything.
Are you still reading?
Yeah. And it says, this demonstration is the proof of concept foundation of the glucose sensing system. In phase 2, development receptors demonstrated that the closed cycle continuous glucose sensing system can produce a consistent, measurable response to physiologically relevant levels of glucose while functioning under biologically relevant conditions. So the chip can be chilling there in what do they call it? I can't remember. But basically, it's dormant. The chip can lay there dormant, and all of a sudden your glucose levels fall, and the glucose can be electronically sparked up. I mean, the chip can be electronically sparked up, and it can know your glucose levels, know how much sugar you need in your system, and everything before you even get to the hospital.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work for the doctors for them.
Or if you fall out before you even get there, it's gonna track you.
Yep.
And then they got to make sure you got insurance and health care and money in your account.
Right. Which that's already loaded on the chip.
Right. They already know. Okay, he got some money. He good.
And here's a diagram of what your bloodstream glucose looks like. Which they all broke this down. The foremost scientists broke this down into a 5th grade diagram. And this is actually what the chip reads inside of your body.
Okay.
And back to the article. This is with back to the Huffington Post, the next generation identification. It says the nation's courts are also doing their part to build the database. So you got your Supreme Court and your local court and your municipal court and your federal courts all juiced in with this as well. Well, you thought this was just going to be a local effort? No, the whole country, Satan got all his people working on this project, man. The database requiring biometric information as a precursor to more lenient sentences. In March 2012, the New York governor, Andrew Cuomo, signed a law allowing DNA evidence to be collected from anyone convicted of a crime, even if it's a non-violent misdemeanor. New York judges have also begun demanding mandatory iris scans before putting defenders on trial. And isn't Andrew Cuomo the same person that was for less guns and more CCTV cameras and more biometrics and more fingerprints and more regulation of crime and everything after the so-called Sandy Hook shooting? Isn't he was the main person?